the publishing panel. I mean, this is economics 101. So.
Leave in. Yeah, no.
We're all out of here.
Didn't quite.
Bye-bye.
Barely made it through college browser.
That's okay. College economics is a little bit different. Anyway, so my name is Elena. I also publish under the name E.M. Ervin. Hi, I am so excited to see you.
Hi.
And this woman has excellent taste in books.
Because I bought her book, but she handed me all these chips. Like,
She was not me.
Yes.
That was not me.
Oh no, it's Pocky.
Not the Pocky.
Tapaki, no.
Okay, so I just published my first book 3 months ago.
We.
I am about 2/3 the way to my second one, and it should be out this fall. So I'm super excited. And one of the ways that I was able to get through all of this is this gentleman right here. I'm sorry for listening again. There we go, yes. This is an interactive panel, so it's okay to speak. And I should have brought my whiteboard so that I can like put applause or stuff like that. Right. Ben started writing published his first book 5 years ago. We both started writing many more years ago than that. He published his first book 5 years ago, and then, hi, we missed you.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We're just happy you're here with us now.
We've been dragging out the introductions so that you can get it.
Absolutely, it was just you. So actually, and Ben is now living the dream because 2 weeks ago he quit his real job, his day job, and now writes full time.
Woo!
So, yes, that is definitely applause worthy. He is also called an anomaly. He was able to do this after publishing 4 books. Usually you're going to have to publish somewhere between 5 and 10 before that's actually a possibility.
If you're self-published author,
Yes. The guy who did the $3.4 million deal, that was, oh my God, I missed you too.
Come on in, we're the publishing panel. You're in the right place.
He was going to come in because of me anyway.
Nah.
He still is.
See, look at that.
Nope.
Got hugs. Wait to see what happens. You come in later. There's a dance. It's fun.
It's so totally well choreographed.
Thank you.
Run away from the one in the blue chair.
Off because you guys don't need to hear me that loud.
It comes out of that.
You want me to close the door so?
No, keep it open.
The volume in?
When people get bored, they're just walking in. It's kind of awesome. We're good. Awesome. So Ben actually, and one of the reasons why we're doing this is that Ben did not start off as an indie writer. He published his first one through a small press, and so I will actually let him now take over that. Because of the fact that we're both indie writers, that requires a little bit of type A personality. So we try not to talk over ourselves or each other, or ourselves. And so there will be sometimes a little bit of give and take. So I'll handle Ben.
I'll help it. All right. So on the indie side, yeah, that's great. It's what I love to do. I started out traditionally published. Now, and this is going to be kind of a compare and contrast. Small publishing or your big publishing, one of the things you run into there, or not run into, one of the things you find there is that you get a great deal of support. You don't have to do a lot of the work. Your covers, not your problem. Formatting, again, not your problem. You get this big old field over here of things that are not your problem. The story, your problem. How the book looks, not your problem. Price, not so much not your problem as not something you have a lot of control over. Yeah, because when The Demon's Apprentice first came out, first came out. I do actually know grammar.
This is also why we both have editors.
Yes, this is why writers have editors. You should see my texts. They are horrible. Darn you, auto-erect. When News Press first came out, the price was set at $4.49. Actually, no, the price was set at $4.95. It was close to this price was set for $4.95 for the ebook. The hard copy was priced at just under $17. These, in today's market, prohibitively expensive. I had no control over this. My cover, no control over that whatsoever. That was a pretty cover. I only saw it after it was done. I only saw it as, hey, here's your cover. And it was pretty. I thought, gosh, Chance looks awful pretty. He's not supposed to be pretty. He's scarred, he's damaged. He's supposed to look a little rough around the edges, not like I would want to pick him. You know?
Like seriously, I bought one of the first copies. You could slap a dress on that boy.
Yeah, and he would rock that shit. And you know, it had a lot going on. Had a dark blue background and dark red lettering. Guess how easy that was to read. And the dark red lettering was.
Oh yes, thank you. Oh my gosh.
Don't have yours, that's the problem.
Now,
But she has mine.
Right. Now, so yeah, the cover was pretty but not effective.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, because an effective cover doesn't have to be a pretty cover, or a pretty cover cannot be effective. So, marketing, not my problem, not my control.
We got the rights back. This is what it turned into.
This is what I turned around, and this is where the difference in self-publishing versus publishing. I paid $200 or so for this and a bunch of other art to go along with the book. And this, you can see the title from space. You know, you're looking at it on Amazon, you go, oh, I know, you instantly know.
Hey, look, it's Steven's Apprentice.
Yeah, it looks, the Demon's Apprentice.
Can't see it from space here.
You can tell a few things about that right away. You can tell the genre. You can tell a little bit about the main character. And you know who wrote it, and what did it, you know what the title is. But your book has also something. But the other thing that the book has is eye contact.
Overkill.
That's all it has.
That's all. Eyes and fire. Woo! Damn, that's hot.
People will look at this,
Mhm.
but you can also see from over here, again, the lettering. You know, what's the name of this book?
Right?
And then the eye contact is actually very important. I went through a couple of different
Yeah.
artists for mine. The first one, and this is why, as indie writers, you guys need to, alright, I know a lot of writers are introverts. That's fine, that's great. I'm not. I think I'm kind of.
This is when she's had too much caffeine in it.
Oh, I haven't had any caffeine.
Oh,
No, you give me caffeine, I vibrate.
Come on!
Laney,
We're
lay
talking
him
about
on.
publishing.
Promise.
But I got my first cover, and I paid, again, covers are something as indie writers you're going to have to put money out for. You've got to do it. I recommend going through somebody else. Even if you guys are great at graphic design, the problem is when it's your baby, it's right here. And let's face it, quite frankly, if it's your first book, any of your books,
Right, and your baby is perfect.
it's your baby.
Yeah.
But you're looking at it right here. You're like, oh my god, I can touch it! You're not really going to be the most objective person in the whole wide world.
That's why you have other authors who go.
That's why you have other authors.
Honey. You paid too much.
So my first one, I did pay $200 to get it. I got, hi guys.
We missed you.
We
Welcome.
did. I was actually very excited to see you guys.
Don't
actually.
do it in the middle.
There was a dance we were saving for later, so.
We'll be able to do it. So I did pay $200 for my cover. And then I got it and I was just like, oh my God.
It's everything I wanted.
I have a cover. I don't, look, I have a book. It makes it real. I have several friends who are authors also, and one of them was my beta reader for me. And I sent her the cover afterwards. She writes back, she goes, no, I am not letting you publish this. I'm like, what are you doing to me? I'm publishing, and meanwhile.
Meanwhile, the rest of us, she sends us these at the same time, and I'm going, guys, hey, and there are two other co-authors on another series. They were not in agreement, oddly enough.
Did they like it?
One of them did, one of them didn't.
I understand, I know who's it.
Yeah, and so we're going, well, do you really think it's like, yeah, guys, look, this is a little, so we're trying to frame this. Her beta reader, zero tax.
My friend Jen, she goes, no, you're not publishing it. I'm like, but I am on Friday. What do you mean? She goes, no, give me 24 hours. You are not putting that crap out. And I'm like, but it's pretty and it's mine. 24 hours later, I got that.
Right, and this is a prime example of, she got an original cover, she got everything she wanted, but she got nothing that she needed. Now, on a future cover, knowing what she needs a little better,
Right.
and she did the important thing, because I originally, with the Demon's Apprentice cover, I had this image of things going on, and blood dripping off of his hand, and circle and blah, and my cover artist is going, no. No. Let me, I'll do what I can, but let me show you some other ideas in the meantime. And she slaps that one in front of me. I'm going, oh my God. Like.
For those that just came in, here's the one that he has now. Everyone may ooh and ah appropriately.
Ooh. Wow.
Appropriately.
I love this.
They take directions.
Makes me so happy.
So yeah, and this is a prime example of finding your expert and listening to them.
Then what I did was I put both the covers on my phone, and I went walking through our local mall on a Friday night, and I went, hey, you guys are about the age category, which book would you pick up? And I'm like, just show me, I'm gonna show you two pictures, which one do you like more? I may have talked to between 30 and 40 people. Like I said, I'm shy. And then I walked around, and quite frankly, out of those people, 2 people liked the original one that I paid for. Everyone else was like, oh my God, this. We don't even want to look at the other one. The 2 people that liked the other one more, they're like, but this is really cool. I'm like, oh, okay, I know what I'm putting on my book.
Right? Market testing.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, and in the end, you have to find, and that's another peril of being in control. Because with the original Demon's Apprentice, that pretty cover that did not work worth a darn, I could say, I didn't do it. I didn't have any say in it. Not my fault. Didn't sell the book any better. With the new cover, I could have said no, go with my original idea, but listen to my expert. Likewise with her. She found somebody that said no.
While they were trying to figure out how to nicely color this
Nicely
crap.
until you just wasted $200 on shit. And so yeah, and the thing is she did listen to her expert, and she got what she needed. And bear in mind, when you are publishing, what you want isn't always what you need. Because that will go to the next step, editing. Editing hurts, yes ma'am.
Did you have your cover artist read the book before they did it, or did you give them a summary?
I gave Angie a summary,
And Jen was my beta reader, and so she actually, beta reading is awesome also, and that kind of goes hand in hand with some of the editing, the first step of editing.
Right.
And she has known me for a very long time, and she's very, very blunt, which I appreciate because I'm very, very blunt. But she actually read the whole book, and then she was just like, yeah, no, we're doing something else. This is what we're doing.
Right.
I'm like, thank you.
Because Angie Goulet, the lady who did my cover, what she asked for is what impression you want to give. And different cover artists are going to do it different ways. This is what impression you want to give. So I gave her kind of a rundown. This is change the story, blah blah blah. And a lot of this I'm doing by text. So I'm going. I could. By text I mean on computer. I don't text like this.
Okay, let me translate. She's sending her emails and IMs. There we go.
Yeah, by text I mean I was typing it out. Believe me, if I was texting it on the phone, I would still be doing it. So yeah, a lot of times, and that comes back. So she asked me questions and tried to figure out what she wanted, because your cover doesn't have to tell your story. It has to convey a few simple, basic concepts: genre, tone, a little bit about your main character, and your title. It has to be simple. It has to give you only a few things, give the eye only one or two things to concentrate on, and give all that information in those few images. Which is why on both of our covers, you will see there are only 2 or 3 aspects or elements of the whole thing. Because on mine, you got Chance with that circle in the background, that bad attitude look on his face, that dark, dark background, which is important. Because if you're selling on Amazon, white background. So people have to be able to see the edge. Best way to do that, very dark cover.
Or vivid.
Or vivid cover, or bright vivid color. With hers, you have the eyes, you have the word, the title, and the flame at the bottom.
And it will all make sense in the office.
What those things do is convey a lot of information with very few images. So yeah, it's why you have to listen to your cover artists. They know these things. They teach you these things. But then we get into editing, and then when you get into editing, your editor has to read the whole thing. And then they're going to tell you things you don't want to hear. This scene has to go. But I like it. It's a good scene. That's the best stuff ever.
And beta readers too. They're very valuable, especially for indie writers. One of my beta readers, actually Jen, who did that, she calls me up and she goes, all right, look. And I could just hear her going, look. She's like, if it wasn't for the fact that I know you, I think that you hate chicks. And I'm like, what? Dude, girl power, come on. She's like, all right, this is what you gotta do. You need to switch it up. You need to do this. You need to do this. Like I said, she's published several books traditionally also. So of course I'm sitting there going, okay. This is how I type.
And when you do that, I mean, it is editing. You cannot take the editing process personally.
Which is hard.
Yeah. Editing is like, for those of you who don't have children, it's like doing surgery on yourself without anesthesia. For those of you with children, it's like doing surgery on your children without anesthesia. It is hard. It is painful. You have to take out things that you love. Best stuff ever has squat to do with the story. It's nothing. But it's a cool scene, but it doesn't belong. It interrupts the flow of the story. Or this scene doesn't match. Or this about the character doesn't match. And while in your head you've got but reasons. If the reader doesn't get that, you've got to fix it or kill it.
I know, like for me, because you're still going to do several drafts. Even as a traditionally published writer, you're going to do several drafts before you send it in. It's just going to happen.
And then, after you send it in, from experience, you're still going to do at least 1 or 2 drafts, because your editor's going to come back and go, did you mean this? Or did Chance's name change somewhere along the way?
Yeah, right. I had the problem that I got into though was while I'm doing my additional drafts, I think in images. So while I'm writing, I have these images that are in my head.
Don't make it to paper.
Well, sometimes they make it to paper, but there are other times that I think in the same words, in the same phrases, and I'm like, oh, I think this is brand new. I'm gonna write, oh, I just wrote that like 3 sentences later, the exact same words. So having an editor is going to come in and not only do that, but also go, do you realize that they smile a lot? Like you have your character grin all the time, like Joe grins, Joe grins, Joe grins, Joe grins, Joe grins. I'm like, okay. They're like, stop using these words.
Right. At least 20 pages of 2 grins, please.
So they do stuff like that also. It's not only someone has to look at this analytically, they have that distance that you don't, but they're also going to look at it and go, yeah, there are things that you do, you use the same words all the time, or they're going to help you with that and help kind of go, okay, stop it.
Right.
Stop it.
So editors will help you craft a better story, but also craft a better writer. You're going to run into that in both sides, whether you're indie published or you're traditional published.
Absolutely.
Again, you cannot take it personally. Because your first draft, and this is the thing, if somebody asks, I've had several people ask me for advice, I'm just starting to write, good, finish something.
Yes.
Just finish it. Don't worry about how good it is, finish it, because you'll fix this part later during this process, and it will hurt. And I don't want to scare you off.
And yes.
Have they ever asked you to remove a character?
I had somebody recommend I change a character, and it worked. It was a dude, and I changed it into a chick. Works so much better, but it completely changed her. It changed the character a lot, and actually I'm going to be doing a novella with that character here.
Now I have in the process of changing a scene, completely eliminating the character. I took out chapters 2 through 3 in the original Demon's Apprentice because it was worthless. And I went from, this is a day in Chance's life to through a day or so later and then the big fight, compress that all into one night. So yeah, I've removed characters, not because I had someone told me to, but because they comprised a scene that did not make it, and that I couldn't put that character in later on.
Yes.
When you get an idea to write about,
Yes.
do you have someone that you go to bounce an idea off of?
I personally have a sounding board. It's a very dear friend of mine. This poor man, I'm so glad that he's one of my dearest friends, because I will call him up in the middle of the night and I'll be like, there's something going on and I can't get it out and it's driving me crazy. So I'll be like, okay, there's this and there's this. And he knows me well enough that he asks the right questions. And sadly, I've gotten so used to talking to him, because we've been friends for well over a decade, that I start talking and then I already hear his questions in my head. So he literally, there have been, I can't count how many conversations where I call and I go, rah, 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 but this, you're right, and this, and oh my God, click. I'm so glad he's a very dear friend. And he doesn't say a word the entire time.
Good talk.
And yeah, that's probably, I actually have a thank you to him at the beginning of my book, because there's been so many times that I've called him in the middle of the night.
1
and
a.m.
been like, okay, blah, and blah, and blah. Oh my God,
Yeah.
and I hung up on him.
You have like 3 thank yous in all caps.
Yes, I do. There's been a lot of people that helped, but yes, he was pretty awesome. That I have a sounding board,
Right.
and he knows the way.
Yeah, and I have my girlfriend, I have some of my other friends that I will, I've been thinking about doing this, and sometimes I will throw these things out in writers' groups as well. I am not afraid of people stealing my ideas, because they're not going to pull it off the same way.
Right.
So, and I will get feedback going, but still.
She actually was first. She had one.
Do you ever have trouble killing characters off? Because I have a whole.
Oh, I know.
I have so much trouble like finding, not even like deciding that they're gonna die, but finding
I
a way
already
to
planned out
kill
like
them.
10 characters.
I have no problem how to.
I
I'm
have
paid
not
for it.
killed anyone yet. This is my first book. However,
Someone is gonna die knowing.
well, first of all, the series is going to be for a while. I will. This is my son, by the way.
Yay, son.
One of her sounding boards.
One of us. But he has gotten to the point where if I'm sitting there typing and I start giggling,
She's being mean.
and he did this to me the other day. Surprise for book two. And he stops and he goes, Mom, you're doing something awful to someone, aren't you?
That made me laugh in my entire
See,
series.
I don't have a problem.
No.
I don't have a problem with killing off characters, but I try not to do it with the frequency that George R. R. Martin does.
I don't think that's difficult. He's
Yeah, I
all
know.
dead.
Yeah.
Did you make
yeah.
it 10 pages?
All right.
No, I think
When I have a character death, to me it has to mean something.
Yes.
Now I will kill off bad guys left, right, and sideways, because that's their purpose. You know, but leading characters. Now I do it more in my zombie books.
Oh,
Yeah, big surprise. But usually I make this, either I make it a sacrifice or I make it an example. Because I'm sorry, 10 billion people just died. You know, the few that are left, I'm not going to just assume that they're going to die of something stupid, because if that was going to happen, they wouldn't have made it this far. They wouldn't have made it a month into the zombie apocalypse. So at that point, I like the deaths that I do. I do not do what Joss Whedon does. I do not kill.
just because.
Just to show how serious, just because it happened, because reasons. I also do not kill people to show how serious the bad guy is. At least, because by that point you should have already seen how serious he is with the other people he's killed.
I've seen that sometimes I'm writing like one bad guy killing like a little kid and like you show how bad he is.
Yeah, exactly, and that's also the Worf syndrome, where they will. It's a TV trope, where I'm the badass, and my job is to get my ass kicked in every episode to show how bad the villain really is.
That happens in a lot of anime too. But no, I mean, for me, I torture and do horrible things, and I really enjoy it.
I kind of want to give you a high five.
That
I know,
person-
like, half the high five, like, finding a way to just end them is so hard for me.
Well, and yeah, because you create characters, you've created this subroutine in your head, you have to learn to switch that off. That is killing something. I don't do it without good reason. Usually it's either a sacrifice or you're an idiot. This is behavior that will not be tolerated in my world. You're not dead.
It's going to be something like that.
Right.
So you had a question, my dear.
When you have a book idea, do you usually write out the entire storyboard, or do you just write and just write without planning?
All I need is a simple mnemonic. So I will have an idea. I will go through. I'll have the basic. This is such and such, but I won't outline it, because I know the difference between macro and micro, and then you get meta beyond that. Things are going to change, so I stick with meta up here until I'm ready to dive in.
For me, I have tried finishing novels several times. So please don't think that I suddenly went, I'm going to do this, book is done, I'm freaking awesome. No, not at all. I know, right? But what I did is I've tried. Like, I have so many series and voices that are in the non-crazy way. I'm crazy for totally other reasons. But I have all of these that are in my head, and I've tried doing outlines, I've tried doing this. They didn't work. So what I did with Wake Up Call is I'm like, okay, I need something fast and dirty. I need to get this done. I just need to finish something. Oh, hot damn, that was actually pretty good. And so I built the world, I did this stuff. Now, for me, and I know you're going to hate the way I'm about to phrase this, but I will let you correct it, but I'm going to phrase it this way so they understand what I'm saying, okay? Do not
What do I have
spaz.
to correct?
Yeah, no, it's, so, I let Joe talk to me. Now, he is about to spaz out on us, and I am going to quantify that now. Now, first of all, as a writer, and I'm just going to put this in, as a writer, you guys need to write every day. Every day. It doesn't matter if it's a couple of 100 words, or if you're doing a little blurb, or you're brainstorming, or what. There's no such, well, there is such a thing as writer's block, and I get that, but it is something in your head, it's something that you're getting in your own way for. Push through it. If the scene is rough, and it's really hard because, oh my God, there are times where I have sat there and it has taken me a week to finish a single scene. And then I do 2 or 3 the next day. And I'm like, ah! You can fix it later. That's why you do drafts. That's why you have an edit. That's why you can keep going back and redoing it. You can keep changing it. But you need to do it every day. Push through, get it done.
Art harder. Yeah.
Art harder.
Yeah.
So, for me, I let Joe kind of take the lead and run through it. Now, for book 2, I actually had a problem. Is I got halfway through the book, and I sat back and I went, oh crap. If I was the bad guy, I'd put 2 in her head and be done. And then I went, I can't kill the character. So I had to start completely over. And I have a better idea of where I was going, and I just had to figure out why and how not to kill her, and then kind of go through the rest.
Right. Now, what she was talking about, there are a lot of things, a lot of writing myths that we let get in our way. What she was talking about is one that many writers would use as an excuse. I let my character just take the lead. And first of all, I think it's us not giving ourselves enough credit as writers. But if we understand, I created this subroutine that has its own personality that I put into it. So yeah, I mean, she lets Joe talk to her. I let Chance talk to me, knowing that I can turn that subroutine on or off. I can go, okay, he might say this, he might say this, because I can tell the same story in 2 different times and never say the same thing twice. So I kind of know that there's some room for variance there, and sometimes I have to craft a piece of dialogue, not with what they would just naturally say, but with enough information to mislead everybody into something else. So what they might say, you have to be ready to let them make a mistake. But that is also one of the excuses a lot of writers, my characters are not talking to me.
They stopped talking to me halfway through.
Right, or the reason your story sucks is because your characters took it in this direction. No, you let them take it in that direction. You have control over this. But yeah, my characters stopped talking to me. I'm not inspired. Too bad.
And that's why I said write every day. It may be a difficult, maybe something's not working for you. But get to the end of the book, and you know what, I bet when you go back and do your second draft, you're gonna go, oh wait, I got it. I know how to make this work better. And
to do that, to get past writer's block, is the one thing, the hardest piece of information a lot of writers run across, the hardest piece of information for a lot of writers to digest. You have got to give yourself permission to write badly. You have got to be okay with, this scene really is terrible right now.
Because you can go back and fix it.
You get more than one chance to tell the story. But yeah, you can fix it. There's a lot of, the important part is getting to the end. So yeah.
Yes.
Is it good to base characters off people you know?
That's more
Look on your
There are a lot of qualifiers to the answer to that
Because
question.
that's like.
Well, okay, what I do is I get inspiration, but there's going to be changes, there's going to be tweaks, there's going to be modifications. Honestly, I'll tell all of you that is the truth. I got inspiration for some of the characters in this book from a K-pop band. Because those boys are pretty enough that you can slap them in a dress, because, hello. That comment is made a few times too. But it's inspiration, and it's not gonna be those characters or those people. Or there will be things that a friend says that I go, dude, that's brilliant! I'm stealing it! But it's not going to be that friend or that person. There's ways to modify and change it.
Which, when you're looking at characters, I tend to create them as a framework upon which I hang certain things. Has anybody in here seen Sky High?
Yes.
Okay. War and Peace. Chant all the way.
Love to demonstrate.
Yes, and that is where almost everything about Chance physically, came from.
So he's an angry puppy.
No, that's the physically. That's
The
physically
physicality.
is the
Because as you watch the movie, there's more to Warren than being angry.
Physically, in the picture that you have on your booth, it looked like War and Peace, because I thought that yesterday when I saw
Right,
the picture.
right.
I was like,
That's what he shared.
I didn't say that because I was
And
like,
his
that's kind of
voice.
weird that he was like,
His voice. There is one line in that to me is just like, oh my God, that's Chance all the way, because it's like, is this going to be rah, rah, and it's is this going to be? You're doing this just to get just to make so and so
Nervous?
Stronghold jealous.
I'm sorry, you're right.
It's just to make Stronghold jealous. Yeah, then I'm in. That sudden change is all Chance.
And
So I
there's those
will.
little pieces.
Yeah, I will. So here's this framework for this Chance. I will not say, okay, that's you, because that has a tendency to piss people off.
And it's limiting.
It is limiting.
It is, because you don't really know, and then they get upset later, because that's another possibility of like, I totally want to do that. That's nice, sweetie, this isn't you, this
Right.
is my character.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Writing.
Yes.
Have you ever been writing a piece, like you're halfway through, and then get an idea for something completely different? How do you backburn that so you're not writing two things at the same time?
Oh, you mean book-wise, story-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the
yes,
time.
all the time.
That's where we go back to. I have the mnemonic. Now, on occasion, I will write two things at the same time.
He does have 2 series right now.
Right. So, okay. Sometimes I'll write 3 things at the same time. Because first of all, I have learned I can shift gears. You learn how to shift gears. So if I have something, but that's where my little mnemonic could go. Okay, I have this idea, blah blah blah. It's good. We're good to go. And then I can go to when I write. It's about 4 or 5 different little things that I just go through when I'm having trouble writing something and I want to get some words in for the day. Because this is practice. This is not just me filling a word quota. This is me improving my craft. So I will either backburner something. I have a good memory. I will put in a few mnemonics to keep it, keep some ideas going, and then go for it and go back to what I'm doing. But yeah, it happens all the time as a writer.
What I do is, I have Google Docs, and that's what I use when I write. Google Docs is a beautiful thing, because
Yes.
I have it on my phone,
It's
I have it on my
amazing.
tablet, I can get it where it doesn't matter where I'm at. I can print.
Yeah.
The reason why my friends have gotten used to me hanging out on them. I've actually had to pull off to the side of the road a couple of times, because I'll be doing something and I'll be like, whoa! At least enough to remember. Now, one of the things that I do though is, I create new fresh docs, and when it's something like that where it just smacks me, where I'm like, this would be awesome, I write the scene that I see in my head. Now, there were times that there were some scenes when I was brainstorming for Wake Up Call, and I was doing my first book and working with Joe, that I had a couple of other scenes that I played with, and I wrote the little scenes and just saved them and stashed them. A couple of those I'm using in my second book. Some of those are going to be in later books. There's some of them that have nothing to do with the world or anything like that. I have that in the doc where it's just like
Mhm.
a brief label so that I can read it, recapture what I saw, and then go back to it. But then I have it backburner because I'm like, if I keep doing this, I am ADOS enough. Okay, a friend of mine calls me that. Attention deficit. Shite. I am ADOS enough that if I let these other things get in my way, I will never finish. And that was the problem that I was having with my other one. Yep.
So, I am having trouble being a literary agent because most of the time they will ask for royalty. And they have told the court you are too young. We're not going to do anything, you're too young.
Oh, wait.
Or I just turned 50.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, you're gonna run into that before age of one, because what you're, first of all, they're gonna end up having you're going to do three requirements. You are technically too young to enter into a contract. Because his parents knew people. But also another thing that literary agents look at is the fact that you are still discovering your voice. Because you're going to look back at this time, and half the time you're going to be amazed at how good you are, because you know, we all have something in us that makes us that good. But you're also going to look back and go, good God. I do that.
I recently did that too.
Yeah.
I was just like, I
But
got when I was
don't
younger.
get discouraged by that. I wish I had your problem at 14.
I do too.
Because at 14, I had no idea that they didn't need a literary agent. At 14, I didn't have anything to submit. I had, because I had let people tell me not to write.
I did the same thing.
Do not give up.
Yes.
Keep going, because somewhere along the way, you're going to find a literary agent who's going to read your stuff and go, I don't care if she's 14. I don't care if she's 12. Give me your parents' cell phone number, we'll talk.
Also, I want to say, don't let that lack of literary agents stop you. Keep writing.
Yeah, independent publishing you have to.
Yeah, if you need to, you can talk to your parents and do some indie writing and indie publishing and start getting yourself known there. But don't stop writing. Keep going forward. Don't let that discourage you.
I had someone edit my book, and they told me that I should not do any publishing because they just said that you shouldn't do that because you're not going to be able to get it out to, and they had somebody who, they had their book made and published it. And it went to Barnes and Noble, but they sent it right back. And then they had to pay for the book that first time they paid.
Okay, well, let me come in here. Now we're getting really back because we've been really much a lot deeply into the writing process, which is good. Which has brought us back to something that's very important. I'm indie published. I make my living as an indie writer now, as of about 2 weeks and a day ago. This is what I do for a living. No, it's gonna be 366 days ago. Okay, about a year ago. That's about when that's gonna stop. It's like being a new parent. Oh, he's only 144 months old. Anyways, indie publishing. I don't care whether I'm in Barnes and Noble. I don't care if I'm in a tiny little bookstore, because you know what? I've made enough this year to live throughout the rest of the year on e-book sales. As an indie author, that is where your money lives.
And so he doesn't have to make a single penny more. He's already got his bills paid for the rest of the year, as of right now. Yes, that's what it is.
The applause.
Then another way that we get publicity is
Cons, yeah. So here's what we do. A lot of our sales come from ebooks. All of our sales come from ebooks. We buy our own books. Those books that you saw out there, we purchased. And we set the price on them. That's the other advantage to being indie published. You set the price. I can sell a book for $10 that my publisher told me should sell for $16.95. I'm sorry, no. And you can set your price low for a little while if you want to get people to make it easy for them to get that first one. But yeah, ebooks. As an indie author, how many of you have a tablet or a cell phone on you right now?
No.
Age of technology, people.
Those are how I'm getting to.
Printed books are just so expensive, and you
They
can get it
are.
on
And
Amazon on your tablet.
The great thing with ebooks is we can price them much lower. And my friend that I already talked about, Jen, who she's published traditionally, her ebook, for example, is $6. And that was the same problem that he was having. And I'm sitting there going, babe, no one's gonna buy that for $6. Especially when they pay some more extra bucks and they get a hard copy. We are able to price it lower so that people have more access to it.
So yeah, don't worry about not getting in Barnes and Noble. You're not. That's not where you want to be as an indie publisher. Because to get into Barnes and Noble, all those things that you know how Barnes and Noble makes their money? Not on you or me or anybody else going to go, I want to buy a book. No. They make their money from publishers going, we will pay you $16,000 to put these books titled out on this display in this location. Publishers pay for prime space there. You know what the other terrible thing about having books in Barnes and Noble is? They have a shelf life that is measured in days or weeks. Online is forever.
Right. So that's why, I mean, doing indie, you can still get out there. You also make proportionally more money, percentage-wise.
3.5 times more on average. The average indie published author, we make 70% off of every ebook sale. You know what John Scalzi, who inked that $3.4 million deal, probably makes off of his ebooks? And I'm wondering how he's ever going to make it out under his advance. About 20%. 20 to 25% is about the royalty. Now that $3.4 million deal that John Scalzi inked, that's all he's going to see until he has sold 20%, at 20% per book, $3.4 million in royalties for himself. Yeah, that's the other part about the big royalties, is you have to earn out your royalty. So I got $50,000, that's great. Until you sell 20% of your book title, up to $50,000, you don't see a penny, and you don't see it except for every 6 months or quarterly, depending on your publisher. We get paid monthly.
You had another question.
Good question.
I'm sure you know that was a really good question.
I'm not talking about your story at all.
Oh, no. Talk about your own story.
Thank you. If someone's having trouble having a more villainous character and more hero character become more compatible,
If somebody.
So subtle.
Subtle.
I will not be like BBC in like 2 years.
Right, exactly. That is exactly what you want to avoid doing.
I know exactly what you're referencing.
Because I did exactly that with the Demon's Apprentice. I had Demon's Apprentice and Page of Swords ready to go. Now I could have released them both at the same time. But what I did was I released Demon's Apprentice, did the cover reveal, did all the marketing and stuff like that ahead of time. Released Demon's Apprentice. And 2 months later, 3 months technically, actually 2 months later, I put Page of Swords up for pre-order. Now, where that works is Demon's Apprentice, people are reading it, they're seeing a second one in the series, they're more likely to give it a chance.
I'm sorry.
I know,
No, I just.
People see puns where I do not intend them. People are more likely to pick up the second book because, pick up the first book because they can see the second book. Oh, this is not something I'm going to be left hanging with. No, I don't do that till the second book.
And then what also with indie writers having just one book, they're like, I don't know if you're actually going to get the second one done. So selling the best sale for your first book is getting your second book out.
Yeah. And then get that third book out. Keep them close. So that, and really, truth is, you don't want that first book to go big. You don't want that second book. You don't even want that third book to go big. You want to go like 4 or 5.
What, she's got a trilogy? So
right. Pick up a couple, get a couple of them ready to go, but have the trilogy out there. Because when that 4th or 5th book goes big,
all of her sales.
Yeah. And you'll have 12 and 15,000 months.
Yeah, if you're going to get into writing like a series, how often should you be prepared to publish?
As readily as you can.
It also depends on if you're doing indie or traditional. For more traditional, it's on average about a year, sometimes more. And the publisher will help carry it, but they obviously would like it more because they want more content, because the more content an individual writer has, the more they're going to be able to sell.
But a traditional publisher's sales cycle is going to be longer than an indie sales cycle. As an indie, I recommend if you can do it, don't go more than 6 months without a new book out. If you can do it in 3 or 4 and produce quality product, make that produce quality product, I emphasize that, then do so. Because the more you get out there, the more new fans you will get, which will bring people back to your other stuff. But try not to go too long before so people don't forget your name and don't forget your momentum.
I know that nowadays almost every author out there is putting out series of books, book series, because like you said, that's kind of where the money's at.
Yeah.
Do you think it's harder out there to put out a standalone novel nowadays?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same reason I don't want a movie deal. I can do more in a 13-hour season block than I can do in a 2-hour movie.
Absolutely.
I can do more in an 8-book series. I can give you deeper character revelation, everything, than I can do in 100,000 words.
And here's another thing is people really want, we've all gotten kind of spoiled because we want to know what happens next. And that's the reason it's only been a more recent thing that full series like this have become a thing, is because everyone's like, but I love this character, what happens next? You screwed this up, how are you fixing it? Things like that, but it's they want to know what happens next. They want to know more about the characters. They want to, come on, I want to be in the world more. And so that's the reason. So.
Yeah, that's my problem with Martin right now, is because it's like, I'm going to forget what happened by the time the next book comes out.
But you're still going to get it.
Yeah, and that's because he is George R. freaking Martin.
The freaking is actually part of his name. He just left it silent.
Right.
So what you were saying about how you want to not wait very long before your next book is published, basically, you want to get your work done fast, but you also want to make sure the problems are accurate, like in math class.
And that it's good. Because here's the thing, is if you put out crap, they're going to go,
they will hammer you for it.
Wow, you were decent. We're done.
Yeah.
And they're not going to buy anything else. It doesn't matter how much you have.
I was about to say, the vegetarian. Sorry.
Well, and I've seen this happen, unfortunately, with a good author who had a brilliant career in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, even into the 2000s. He had a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. So for several years he didn't write anything. He got dropped by his publisher. He picked a bad publisher, a vanity publisher, and it shows in his book. So you can see all the way through his Amazon ratings, and it's tragic to look at and know what's going on. 4.5, 4.6, 4.8, 4.3, etc. You get to his most recent book, it's like a 2.5. That's what happens when you produce crap, when you don't have good editing. So yeah, that's the other thing is as an indie publisher, find yourself a good editor and be willing to pay for that. But actually, she had a question. Right?
Series, is it better to write short books with a large quantity or big books with like just a few?
That's going to be entirely dependent on genre and your audience.
And your story.
Mine's for like our age.
For your
young adult.
For young adult, I would say because I write two series of two different lengths. My zombie series, I usually about 50 to 60,000 to 85,000. It's an action book. It's designed to be, devoured in an afternoon. For young adults, yeah, 50 to 60,000. You don't want that book to be too long.
But, no, mine's also young adult and it's 100,000.
Likewise, mine is also young adults, 100,000. So you can get away with, but it depends on what the story says. Get to the end of the story.
Yes, don't cut yourself off. Finish the story. Use as many words. Do not look at it and go, oh God, I need to be 100,000 words. I need to be this. I need to be that. Write it until the story is done. And then worry about the word count. And then look at it and think about it.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure how relevant this is, but I'm a cartoonist and I like working with comics. I was wondering whether I should go more into webcomics or graphic novels.
Webcomics or what?
Graphic novels. That's actually also going to be dependent. I've actually seen because, okay, first of all, we're not comics. So and all of this is really just our opinions and our observations and the things that we've seen and experienced.
Right.
One of the things that I've seen some people do with webcomics is they start with webcomics and you start to get your draw and you start to get your audience and your fan base. Then you can also start doing books. One of my favorite webcomics, we're geeks all the way around. I mean, we're at an anime convention. So one of my favorite webcomics is Girl Genius.
Yes, okay. I was going to use exactly. So basically, we're going to be saying the same thing. Yes.
SWAT Mercenary and Girl Genius, two of the greatest webcomics out there.
I follow the Facebook also, and she always posts the thing. They always post it on there. But if you look up Girl Genius, but they have their comics that they put out. But she also puts graphic novels. Sorry, I am looking at the main character in my head, so.
Yeah.
But and so it's kind of a combination. And actually, there's several webcomics that have been going on for freaking ever that do the same thing. And then you can show up at places like this and be like, hi, I'm awesome. I do webcomics. Here's the comic book.
So yeah.
I'll sign it for you.
Yeah, Phil Foglio is an excellent example. He put Girl Genius out, and it's basically issue 1 through, and then does the graphic novel. This is issues 1 through 20. And he shows up and
I love how he just did the hippie thing. That makes me really happy.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's so the answer to your question is yes. I mean, do webcomics, then do graphic novels.
But the webcomics will help you build your base.
Okay.
And it will be a great place. What time is it?
3.
And once again, like you said, the internet's forever, so it's
Right.
Right.
Now, I do want to tell everyone a couple of things that, since we did get off topic, but I hope it still helped people. One of the things that is very, very big, and it's something that a lot of writers need to look at. Don't pay someone else to give you money.
Yeah.
That was so great.
The only thing even better is if somebody's at money flows toward the writer. In publishing, money flows towards the writer. If someone's supposed to pay you royalties,
don't
don't
pay
pay
them.
them.
And this is something that happens a lot, like with vanity presses. They're like, that's great, give me $2,000 and I'll publish this for you.
Right. If you go to a website that is all about, look at our packages and our author services and this thing we can do for authors and this thing, you're going to pay money and you're not going to get anything in return. That's a vanity press. They suck.
Now, and there's a lot of other things. We could keep talking for a long time, and I know we got off topic. We do have a booth in the vendors area right now. If you walk in, we're like one of the first people there. We're kind of loud. We can't really miss it. Just look for the chick with the blue hair.
Yeah. Or the guy that looks...
Oh, awesome.
Right? Yes, yeah,
but
blue hair.
You
The
hotness
and the hot mess.
You can come and...
Hot mess, yeah.
That's gonna earn a slap.
Hot mess.
All right.
That's what I said.
Not enunciate that.
Yes, I did.
He tried to kill my mom off yesterday to make me a hero.
No, you tried to make me kill your mom off.
So, I'm not even gonna. But
Don't.
Heroes are orphans.
all heroes are orphans. And then he made a comment about blue hair, and now I'm gonna be a hero. And I'm like, why are you trying to kill my mom?
No, you're the main character today.
Exactly, which makes her a hero.
But we have cards there. Come pick up a card.
Pick up a
Email us,
book.
ask us questions. Oh, or books. I mean,
If you haven't already.
you guys, we
Bob.
have awesome books. Ladies, please.
Raise the roof.
Having assistants.
I know. No, they're better than assistants.
Banana.
Here's the thing. As another thing, as authors, as writers, folks like this, you're my true believer. My career.
Sorry, I can do that where it's less creepy.
Yeah. Quite so pedophilish.
It's kind of weird when a 40-something-year-old man does it, but when a 38-year-old woman does it.
Why are you telling my age?
Yes, success. I was about to make a comment.
But I was saying, come talk to us. We're happy to answer questions. We have cards, we have books. And you can contact us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. And we're happy to answer questions because it's not a competition. It is a community. I'm not going to say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to help you girls because you're going to be going against me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not
It is, if I help you, you're going to be published. If I can help you get published, that means more readers. That means more readers for everybody. The more people you can get reading, the more people you can get into this, the more people you can build a community. It's really, to me, and I'm a little bit hippie, but it's helping each other. And I mean, if you really want, we can all go sing Kumbaya or something. But but it will be to everybody's advantage in the long term.
As an
I am so kicking your ass after this.
Well,
Hey,
it was.
we have two people we can handle.
I am old for a reason.
I used to LARP with him. I've known him also for almost 2 decades, so.
I did not do that. That was all you.
Just keep telling yourself.
No,
But
if you have, as an idea on community, have any of you ever heard of an artist by the name of Amanda Palmer? No?
I'm sorry, Dresden Dolls, coin-operated boy, Neil Gaiman's wife. Neil Gaiman?
Yes.
Okay, I was just going to start listing stuff. Okay.
Grand Theft Orchestra. Anyways, go to YouTube, look up Amanda Palmer TED Talk. It's called The Art of Asking.
It is amazing.
And this is what we're talking about. Celebrity like Patterson, that's a lot of people loving you from a distance. What we're doing is connecting with a few people up close, and that being enough.
We're at a convention, okay?
Yeah.
We're here, we want to interact. And it makes, I was getting giddy out there, we're talking to a few people. So I'm easily, I don't know if you guys have picked up on this, I'm easily excitable.
She has it this easily distracted by shiny object shirt.
I'm putting you up for adoption.
No.
Worth it.
Hey, you can be like my cousin. Yes, we
So I was invited to a close reading.
My son may need a little brother.
That would be pretty awesome. Yes. And okay, here's the thing, there's not a really right or wrong answer, even though I know I just said don't pay somebody else and that's wrong. For all of these things, it's individual. It is, just for you especially right now, talk to your parents. But something like that, close reading, that's not a bad thing.
A closed reading group, that means that they don't let just anybody in.
It's morally, it's
We're
good.
gonna probably want us to get it.
And they're about to take us out.
We should probably.
But thank you, everyone. And
Tone beforehand was that even if the more villainous character isn't as villainous as you first think, although that's a little cheesy sounding, but much more cheesy sounding than how someone says it. She is going to beat you after we get out of here, and there are no witnesses.
There's going to be a grave outside.
So what I'm hearing is, I'm not evil, I'm misunderstood.
No, actually no. Well, how about this? For that one, we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah.
That's getting
I'm
really
not evil, I'm
specific.
misunderstood as he struggles puppy. Kind of.
No! Oh my God!
Let's do that.
Wow.
Don't that's my characterization.
Wait, so are you trying to make like a Moriarty here? Or?
I'm not evil, I'm just ruthless. There we go.
Alright, kind of going back to hers. Like, I'm 16.
Yes.
And I'm working on my first book. If I can't get it been published in sequential order, but I get them all published at once, is that a bad thing?
That's a beautiful thing.
Because it's like a trilogy. I'm planning it to be a trilogy.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a good thing.
So what you do with that?
Like if I can't find someone
This
to
is
publish it, it's okay to keep on writing it, build them
No,
all.
that's what I was saying. Don't stop.
I know,
but no, keep writing, get them all done.
Right.
Because that would be a beautiful thing. I mean, seriously, because right now, this girl and you are probably going to kick my butt because it's still going to be a few months
Right.
before my book 2 is out. I've already actually received